Hey guys, so the Dragon Ball Legends second anniversary is, 3 days away or something like that. So we're gonna go through this and sort of just talk about who I think, which teams I think are going to be sort of the biggest winners from the anniversary. We're gonna look at only the Sparkings here. So two things on that. I think EXs are definitely a lot harder to pull than Sparkings are, especially now that they said that they are going to be increasing the sparking pull rate from 7 to 10%. And then also, I just feel like sparkings generally have a much larger impact on the team than EXs do. So we're going to be ignoring the EXs for this video. We still do not really have a full, complete picture of what, all these units are doing. Obviously we have all these EXs down here, like this Gogeta Trunks, we have Vegeta, the Sin Shenron's down there somewhere. Then we have the new hero units, but I'm not going to look at those. So, it's sort of like half here in like a weird format, but I can try and sit here and try and decipher this, but I'm not going to. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and take a look at all these Sparkings, and then I think what I want to do is sort of like rank the teams that are being affected by them, and then give my predictions on which teams I think are going to be most positively impacted by this anniversary. So we'll start with Vegeta Blue and his teams. So we have Saiyans, the omnipresent Saiyan team. So out of the new units, we have Vegeta Blue and Goku are the two Saiyans that are dropping with this celebration. Goku specifically, we can actually take a look, because Goku specifically, it was mentioned in the live broadcast that they did for the preview that this guy would be gaining buffs when ran alongside other Saiyans. So this guy obviously can be ran on like the Sun Family team or the GT team, but you want to make sure that your other units are alongside this guy are both Saiyans. So even if you run them on GT, like maybe you don't want to run him alongside this Sin Shenron, like Rildo, this Omega Shenron. You maybe want to run him alongside Super Baby 2, who's a Saiyan, this Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, or even just the old Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So it's kind of interesting how they did that. I think they want to push these units to sort of fill in, I guess, gaps, or make them, require other specific members to make them better. But I think this guy's going to be... I'm predicting this right now. I said this to a couple of other content creators that I was talking to, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this guy is going to be like the sleeper of the anniversary in terms of like which units are the best. Just because of the fact that he's geared towards being on the Saiyan team, and he even buffs Saiyans with the Z ability at 6-star. He picks up the blast attack to Saiyans, so he's going to be buffing GT and Saiyans with his blast attack. We take a look at the Saiyan list. I mean, it's just like you can literally do anything with this team. You can even, if you pull Vegeta Blue, you can put Vegeta Blue on here. You pull this guy, you put him on here, and then the bench options are just like unlimited, and the flexibility this team has is just stupid. So this team was really missing, I think, like a very powerful green unit. We do have Kefla, who obviously is really, really good, but she doesn't buff the team, and she doesn't really help the team in any way, because we take a look at what her ability here is, and hold on. So this part of her unique ability down here, right? So whenever she takes damage, she's buffing Female Warriors, Fusions, and Universe 6. So obviously Saiyans are not included in that, and that takes away from the value that she's going to be giving to the team. So I mean, you obviously can run Kefla on here because she's good, but from what we know about this guy, I feel like he's going to be a much better fit for this team, and I think this guy's probably going to be the best green unit you can use for the Saiyan team. So that's Saiyans, right? I mean, we have Vegeta Blue as well. From what little we know of Vegeta, I mean, not little, like you can practically piece together his entire kit at this point because of people data mining and stuff, but from what we know about what this guy is going to be doing, I don't think it's a stretch to say that he's going to be, at the very minimum, a top 3 unit in the game. So with that said, you add this guy to the team with the most options available in the game. I mean, it's hard to say that this team is going to be lacking. I mean, you even have someone like the yellow Legend Droid Kid Goku you could throw on here with him, give him a buff when he switches out, give him support. So this Saiyan team was once a team where they were just super terrified of, you know, giving them buffs and new characters to use. And at this point, I mean, this is one of the more prominent teams in the meta right now, like before the anniversary. And once the anniversary gets rolling and we get Goku and Vegeta, I feel like this team might be one of the best teams, like hands down. So the Saiyan team definitely, I think, is going to get a very sizable buff from this. Where is Vegeta? I'm going to go back to him. So Future. Okay, well actually Future for last, because I think Future is probably going to be the team that's going to get the most buffs, but that's just my thoughts right now. Maybe it'll change as we go through this video. Fusion Warrior and God Key. Let's talk about God Key first. So God Key is getting 2 units. They're getting Vegeta and the Fusion Zamasu. So just color-wise here, I think blue is a very good color for this team to be getting. I definitely don't think this guy's bad, the Super Saiyan Blue Goku from last year's anniversary. He's aged pretty well, but I mean, any unit that ages a full year in this game, no matter how good you are, you're going to start seeing some power creep. Even LFs, like LF Gohan, LF Goten, even Super Vegeta himself, the purple one, they're all seeing at least some form of, I guess, decay in how dominant they once were in the meta. And it's not like a secret that this guy is no longer up there among the best units in the game. So at this point, I'm really happy that this team's getting a blue unit. That's good. And then Merge Zamasu's purple. I actually really do think people are underrating this Goku, this God Goku. He's actually really good. But the problem is nobody has him because he was never on any other banner except for the one banner he debuted on, and they never brought it back. So no one has this guy. You're gonna after the anniversary is over, you're gonna be seeing way more of this guy than this guy. So purple's good. I actually think people underrate this Vegeta as well. This Vegeta is really, really good if you have a pretty good God Key team. But this guy's being sort of like defensive and I guess troublesome is how they worded it. I feel like that's something that this team doesn't really have a lot of, except for this guy. So from what I'm seeing, again, we don't know the kits yet, so it's not really going to be, you know, set in stone or anything, but this guy seems like he's going to be very similar to how this guy operates. So it'll be interesting to see what this guy does. I know he has a knockback on cover change. He does heal himself. I believe he like nullifies attribute downgrades or something. But this guy also fulfills a supporting role for this team. So I don't know. It's going to be close. You might be able to run both of them and then do like a purple yellow, or no, it would be purple red setup with both of them and maybe Rose or something. I don't know. This team's getting a lot more options. That's good because honestly, their set of options was pretty lacking. Beerus is very bad unless you have him Zenkai'd. Whis is difficult to pull. This guy's old just for bench. So I don't know. This guy's Legend Limited. God Key seems like it's going to be getting a solid buff. Obviously, Vegeta Blue is going to be carrying his team once he comes out, if you manage to pull him. But he's also going to be carrying the other 2 teams that he's on as well. So let's take a look at the Fusion Warriors team. Now, a lot of people think that this team is the best team in the game right now. I would have to disagree with that. But I understand why people think that, because this team is just so like omnipresent in the meta right now. Every single fight is against this team, and even I experienced that. So this team is obviously very strike-based, right? Both of the new units that came out, Kefla and Gotenks, they're both very strike-based units. So is Super Vegeta. So is this yellow transforming Vegeta. And so is this guy, the new one, Vegeta Blue. So what that does is it essentially kicks this guy out, and it kicks this green Gogeta out, even though he never really was super prominent in this team. And I think Merge Masu is more so blast-based. So let's just take a look. He is. Yeah, he's more blast, but he's actually a range type, I think. He is. Yeah, he's a range type. So I don't. If you go down the path of running like the blue Vegeta variant of this team, which you definitely should if you pull him, because that's easily gonna be the best variant of this team. I don't know if this guy is gonna fit super well on here, just because you generally want to run one archetype of either strike or blast. You don't want to really mix them too often. But then you talk about Omega Shenron. We don't really know too much about what this guy's doing yet, obviously, but this guy is a more balanced attacker. But he is slightly higher in terms of strike attack. So we'll see. We'll see how they handle this guy. But this guy could be a good red unit for the team. And honestly, I could see him kind of replacing this Gotenks. It's weird to think about it that way, because Gotenks is obviously buffing the team with his Z ability, strike attack. He's just crazy damage. He recovers his ki very quickly. He has card draw speed, I think, with this main ability once he transforms, so he does a lot for the team. But if this guy brings more utility to the team and like some kind of supporting effect, then the team really needs that. And Gotenks just brings damage. Gotenks doesn't really bring utility in any sort of way at all. So I think if Omega is able to fill in the gaps where Gotenks can't for this team and help the team out in more ways than just adding just more raw damage, then he will find a home on this team over Gotenks, even though he's not necessarily buffing the team directly with the Z ability. But other than that, I mean, this team is going to just continue getting more powerful. When we have EX Vegeta, I'm not going to really talk about him because I don't know what he does, but could be a good unit. He's also red, so he's going to be competing with both Omega and Gotenks, as well as this guy. Don't forget this guy. He's still... I mean, this guy's 100% going to be at least bench on this team, just because this is like the dumbest thing ever. And by the way, if you pull Vegeta Blue, this is going to be affecting Vegeta Blue. So Vegeta Blue is going to be getting double 40% to both defenses and then 20% to strike attack. So you're obviously going to be running him on your bench. But this team's getting a lot of red units. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, like very, very good red units. I'm assuming these guys are both going to be very, very good. And then if this guy gets a Zenkai Awakening, I mean, that's like, it's Red City then. Like, you literally might want to run like this guy, well, yeah, you could run this guy Omega and like Vegeta Blue or something. I don't know. Maybe red, maybe a red-green setup or something with Kefla. I don't know. But this team's going to be getting a lot more options in the future. Keep in mind, this team is not received a Zenkai Awakening yet. I was sort of teasing the idea of this guy potentially getting a Zenkai, just to buff Vegeta Blue. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but yeah, it might be something that we could see on the horizon. Don't sleep on that idea. Okay, so that's fusions and God Key. Let's go back to you, just so that we can see what else is on here. I think we talked about all these except for future. We'll pull up future and save that over here and talk about that last. Okay, so I think it's time we talk about GT. Actually, no, wait. We'll talk about Vegeta Family and Hybrid Saiyans. We can talk about Super Saiyans. Super Saiyan, I'll just say this. It's always going to be good because of Bardock, but Bardock, every waking moment that Bardock spends just getting older, he's getting worse. Just because he can't take a hit. And with units like Kefla, with units like Gotenks, and the new Vegeta Blue, and like Super Saiyan 4 Goku running around, he's going to get absolutely like demolished every single time he switches in. So the Super Saiyan team as a team, I don't really see it having a very bright future right now, unless they decide to go in Zenkai Bardock, but well, that's a story for a different video. Alright, so where were we? We'll talk about hybrids first. Hybrids is only getting one upgrade in this anniversary, unless you're counting this guy, which he might be very good, we don't know yet. But they're picking up this Rage Trunks, who's a yellow unit. This team didn't really need another yellow unit. This guy still, to this day, is incredibly good. There might be a world where you want to run like yellow, blue, but guess what? This team really doesn't have any good blue units on it. Well, that's not true, because you're going to be running this Trunks too, right? That Trunks is getting a Zenkai Awakening. And if you run yellow, blue, you could run Trunks, Gohan, and this guy, and then the way this guy currently works is he gets buffed from being ran alongside other Gohan units, so that would work pretty well, to be honest. I completely forgot this guy was getting Zenkai Awakening, honestly. But that, that actually could be a decent setup, depending on what this guy ends up doing. So that, it might work. I don't know. But that's good for the Hybrids team. I think this team, though, the Vegeta family team. Ever since this tag was introduced into the game, we've been asking, you know, where's the defense at? Where are the tanks at? Where anyone who could take a hit. There's not a single unit on this team who could take a hit, unless you really want to count this guy who's like okay at tanking, not really that much though. This guy has 40% cover, but it doesn't feel like that at all. There's so many purple units in the game who could just instantly just annihilate this guy. Like Super Vegeta, if he uses his main ability, he literally gets rid of his cut. 21 can still shred him. Even the the blue Vegeta, the purple one, can kill him pretty much through cover cut. So I didn't really feel like this guy was super tanky to me. So now we're finally getting a very tanky unit for this team, who, to me, he seems like he's going to be very good. I was able to test him out a little bit in the new event that's coming out, which, well, that came out, where you can use him and the Goku on the, you know, in the event, and he seems very good to me. So this team, I mean, talk about like filling in gaps. I think just based off of this guy's presence alone, this team is going to shoot up a lot. This guy is insane still. People, I think, still underrate this guy. He does so much damage. This guy's still really good as well. I mean, he's an LF, but, you know. Trunks is very good. This guy's still really good too. He double buffs him, this team with offense, by the way. And now this guy comes along. I think, what is this guy buffing exactly? Let me just make sure I know what he's doing. So he buffs... That's Blast Defense, and there's Blast Defense to Vegeta family. Okay, so there he gets it at 3 stars. Okay, so at 6 stars he picks up Blast Attack. Okay, so he's double buffing Vegeta family. I mean, yeah, this this is gonna be pretty stupid. People like might overlook this. By the way, we also have these two guys as well. People might overlook this team for this meta, especially, you know, with all, like, obviously people look at this and are like, oh my god, God Key infusions and GT is going to be insane, but look at Vegeta family. This is a sleeper team that's going to be getting buffed here. I mean, this could be a real contender for like one of the best teams right now. I'm not even kidding. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that was Trunks, and we have a few more teams. We'll go through Omega, because Omega has a ton of these. Fusion Warrior talked about. Okay, we'll sort of talk about this. I don't think this is going to be relevant yet. So Masu does buff powerful opponent, but I mean, we get like 1 or 2 more people who buff this tag. What does he even do? He gives like blast attack, 15% blast attack to powerful opponent. It's not the craziest thing ever, but it's giving him that buff allows him to be put on a team like a Regen. He doesn't buff Regen, does he? I don't even remember. Does not. Yeah. So even though this guy is not buffing Regen, you put him on a team like Regen, and you take a look at the powerful opponent tag. I mean, Omega is on there. Buhan is on there. Zenkai Buu is on there. I'm pretty sure Super Baby 2 should be on here. He is. So literally the entire Regen team is already in this tag. Enter 21's here. So even though this guy's not buffing Regen, you put him on the team and he's giving the team at least something with his ability. And he's on the tag as well. So I mean, that's going to be an interesting situation once we start getting more units that buff that tag. So Regen. We talked about it briefly. I don't really think Regen's going to be getting a super powerful buff from this, but I mean, Merge Masu and Omega are on here. I hope they don't go down the path of like making them fit perfectly on here. I hope they do the same thing that they did with this guy and make it so that they want to be ran, like make their kits focused around like this guy being on GT or this guy being on God Key or Future, because they have to know at this point nobody enjoys fighting this team or even really playing this team. So please, this team's obviously going to get better from Omega being here, and Omega does buff Regen too, so that might not be super conducive to what I actually wanted him to do, which is not help the team out a lot, but strike attack for Regen, and strike defense for Regen. So he's double buffing Regen. That's great. So Regen's definitely going to get an update from this guy. In terms of red units, I mean, I'm not really the biggest fan of this guy. Janemba's okay. So yeah, this guy's probably going to become the prominent red unit to use on this team. And I'm pretty sure the way this guy's green card works is the same way that Yellow Gohan's green card works. So this is going to get so annoying. I don't think this team is going to be as impacted though, because they already were insanely good. So them just getting like Omega, I don't think is going to push them like above and beyond what other teams are getting in the anniversary. So then we talk about GT. So we have 2 tags left. We have GT and then we have Future. I personally think that both the GT and Future teams are going to be getting the biggest buffs from the celebration. I think Future more than GT, so we'll talk about GT first. But I think it might be close. So Omega Shenron, he's not going to be, I don't think he's going to be like a game-changing unit for this team. And neither this guy is either. I don't think this guy by himself is going to be like super insanely good with this team. But the only issue I see with both of these guys is that, again, this Goku wants to be used alongside other Saiyans. So if you put him with Omega, he's not going to be benefiting, to the maximum potential that he has from Omega being there. But it might just be too good to be true. Well, not too good to be true. It might just be too good to pass up to not run them. They might just be too good to not run together. And you could even go down the path of running like a red green team with this guy, Omega, and this guy as your main 3 units. That might be the way this plays out, right? You might want to just run those 3 together. And then of course you have Goku and Super Baby 2, who are going to be just always good on this team. Then you have this guy as a bench unit. Same thing with Sin Shenron. Sin Shenron, I probably imagine is going to be on the banner. And then this guy, I mean, look at his Z ability. Hold on. I think it's at 3 stars he picks this up. So GT gets double offenses. So blast attack, strike attack, and Shadow Dragons gets an extra strike attack buff. So that's really pushing Omega to be ran on this team as one of the main units here. And the good thing about this team is now, look at this. Green, purple, blue, red, and then yellow. The only color that's not really super good is yellow. I don't think Sin Shenron is like insane, but he's not bad. Certainly not bad. So if you're looking for like a more defensive route for this team, you can throw him on there. And honestly, this team has one of every color, one very good unit of every color. So the flexibility that this team has now is very, very good. And I think that's reminiscent of where LOE is too, because LOE has one very good unit of every color too. And that's what makes them such a good team. So I feel like this team is going to end up in a similar position to LOE. Alright, now we take a look at Future. The one sort of big gaping hole that this team had was the fact that they had like no usable blue units. Yeah, this guy and this guy are like the only 2 that this team had. This guy's getting a Zenkai Awakening. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm just telling you guys right now, on this team, he's instantly going to be overshadowed by Vegeta Blue. The only reason why I think they gave this guy a Zenkai Awakening now is because A, it followed the path of the Legends Road getting a Zenkai, because he was the second one to come out after Kid Goku. And then B, if you don't pull Vegeta Blue, which most people won't, I would say 98% of the population won't pull Vegeta Blue, then you at least have a very, very good option to run on this team as a blue unit without him. So they're really getting 4 very, very good units. You're getting this guy's Zenkai Awakening, and then 3 of these guys right here. So, I mean, talk about a team that's just instantly getting like a just massive buff. The only thing is that this guy doesn't buff Future until 6 stars. And oh man, if you talk about stuff people aren't going to pull, I would say less than 0.01% of the population of this game is going to get this guy to 6 stars. So I wouldn't even count that as a possibility for most players. But I mean, not only are all these guys on the Future team, they're all buffing it. Trunks is buffing Future. Like, at 2 stars he's buffing it instantly. to blast defense. It's hard to tell what this is doing, but this Trunks could be double buffing Vegeta family and future. Blast attack and defense, which would be very, very good. The only problem with that is that this Vegeta Blue is a strike base, and so is this Trunks down here. And so is Goku Black. But the thing with Trunks is this guy's going to be Zenkai buffing him. So I don't know. This might be a scenario where you do yellow, yellow, blue, and you go Goku Black, Zenkai, you go yellow Trunks, and Vegeta Blue. And although these guys are both buffing Blast, you can have your bench be like Rose, Future Gohan, stuff like that, with people who actually buff Strike Attack. And then this guy himself is also buffing Strike Attack, so I mean that's sufficient enough. And then Mai maybe too, buffing Health. And this team is all of a sudden looking really, really good. So, and then maybe you can even use like Merge Masu too. I don't know. This team's just all of a sudden got like 20 million options to run. So, with that said, I think the way I'm going to rank this is Future's going to be the team that I think is going to get the most buffs from the anniversary. Then I think it's going to be GT. I think GT is going to be the team where you see the next most after Future. Well, I don't even know if you're going to see Future. People are probably going to run Fusion still, just because people love Fusions. But I think in terms of power level, Future might be the best team. Then GT. And then I'm going to throw this out there. I think, hold on. Where is he? We can just pull him up again. And then I think this team is actually going to be number 3, just from this one unit releasing on this team. They are going to be getting the third most impactful buff from the anniversary, this Trunks alone. I don't really want to say Regen, but I mean, this guy being on the team is actually going to matter a lot. So Regen might be up there as well. And then the rest are just going to be like sort of like tied between like Fusion Warriors, God Key. What else we got? Saiyans. Saiyans, I guess you can kind of throw in the same discussion as Regen, because I feel like this guy's actually going to make a huge difference on the Saiyan team, because they finally are going to get like a top tier green unit that they haven't had in a long time. But yeah, top 3 are definitely going to be Future, then GT, then I think Vegeta Family is the third. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen during the anniversary. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, we don't really have the full information for all these units yet, so it's really hard to say for like 100% without 100% certainty like what's going to happen. But just preliminary thinking there. That was the point of this video. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we will be back fairly shortly with another one. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one.